communication, speech and language specifically. I'll be talking in the initial 15 minutes, and then we can take over the questions. Okay, so or if you feel if you have any questions in the middle, just write it down over the chat. Okay, so let's get started. We are going to start with what actually communication is. So for communication, we for communication, anything or any message that you convey from one person to another person by whatsoever means can be termed as communication. That can be through a wink, that can be through a gesture, that can be through your facial expression. Any message that a second person, I mean a receiver and a sender, they both have communicated any message through any kind of means will be termed as communication. Why I am telling you this basic definition is because, like for example, a 3-month-old baby, when he cries, that is also a sort of communication. If a child is not responding to you, he is not, I mean, looking in your eyes, that is also a kind of communication that he doesn't want to talk to you. If a child does not, I mean, stay in his seat or stay in his chair in the class, that is also a kind of communication. So that is why any sort of information that has been transferred from a listener, from a speaker to the listener will be termed as communication. So we have, I mean, we have a lot of ways in order for the communication skills. However, these four are the basic modalities of communication. The first is the verbal, the visual, the written, and the non-verbal. And your non-verbal covers over 70% of our communication needs. So, for example, I mean, a basic example that we all have seen. Okay, if anybody from your house or your mother or any of your spouse has given you a food and you don't like it, the kind of face you make will be a kind of communication to them. I mean, you are communicating your feelings that I do not like this food, or if you even, I mean, just say it, okay, yes, you like it. So your body parts, your facial expressions, your eye contact, your hand movement, even your intonation, your tone is also a kind of communication. So specifically when we are, I mean, talking about kids, we should understand, specifically when we are talking about kids, we should understand, okay, if a child, however, how the, yes.
Sapin, just check the waiting room, admit those participants, those who are waiting. So sorry, because now you are the host, so I can't do this. So admit all, just click on admit all because I'm getting the messages.
Done
Yeah,
that.
perfect. Thank you so much. You can continue or just look at that meeting.
Okay.
Perfectly.
Okay, so I am talking about that when we talk about kids, we have to be very sure and very sensitive in terms of, okay, I mean, not only their language but their behavior is also telling us something. What are they trying to communicate to us? Okay, so we'll continue. As a speech and language pathologist, uh, what kind of concerns you are going to see in students in terms of when we talk about speech and language? So when we talk about speech, that is a verbal communication. You might see a child is not speaking properly. I mean, his words are not clear. You might see that he's speaking properly, but he might is facing some pitch breaks, yeah, some, I mean, speech breaks in between. You might also see, I mean, a girl having a voice that is a girl having a man-like voice and a man having a girl-like voice. Okay, so that is a voice disorder. When we talk about the language, those who are, I mean, who have a degree or who have learned language, we know that in language we talk about three specific things. One is the form, the other is the content, and the third is the function. when we talk about form, language has three components: form, content, and the functions. The form is how are you speaking? Like, I mean, what are the sentence part you are using? What are the sounds you are using? That includes your phonology and your morphology. बहुत भारी terms हो गए हैं. So phonology means phonology are the sounds, yeah, the break of the sounds. Like for example, if I'm saying cat, k, a, t, these three sounds collectively, when when I combine these sounds and they form a word, this can be termed as phonology. What is morphology? Morphology are the use of the words, like friend, friendship. The joining of the two words or the use of the words is the morphology. What is the syntax? Syntax is your sentence structure. Like I say, ke, uh, don't just go away. I mean, this is my structure. Don't go, just stay. I mean, the kind of structure you are making is your sentence, is your syntax. Okay? The content of the language is the semantics. Semantics mean what is the meaning of my language? I mean, what am I trying to communicate? Like cat will be termed as an animal. Bed will be termed as a thing which we use to sleep. And the last is the function. Function is why are you using that specific language? I mean, are you using to scold somebody? Are you using to communicate just your information? Are you using it to question? So this is the pragmatics. The other, I mean, any kid that you see, if having difficulty in communication, may encounter difficulty in any of this, part of the language. The other form can be due to hearing. So we see people who are hard of hearing, who are wearing hearing aids, that will also impede or affect your language. Okay. Let's move on to next part. Okay. You as a professional, you as a teacher, you as a parent, when we talk about the language milestone या फिर holistic milestone of a child, we always look up to these four basic developmental things. What is the cognition, the receptive language, the expressive language, and the speech. Cognition is, cognition is the samajh booj, the intelligence. How intelligent is the child to understand my thing? An example can be if you ask a child to go and please go and pick up the cup. If a child does not know that I have been asked to do something, if that is not there, that means we can see yes, cognition is impaired. We see if he might not know the meaning of a cup, कि वो cup होता क्या है, that can be a concern. If a child does not know where I can find the cup, that can be a concern. So this all will come under the umbrella of cognition. The other is the receptive language. Receptive language is what is in my brain as a language. For example, when a child starts to learn language, he would we often label and point to the cat. Okay? After some time, the child will label every animal with 4 legs and a tail as cat, because he has learned, या फिर receptively it is in his mind कि everything that has 4 legs, has a tail, has big ears, is an animal and is a cat. However, with time, that generalization occurs that not every animal is a cat. Some could be cow, some could be horse, or some could be any other thing. Okay? This is the receptive language. The third is the expressive language. What is in my mind? How am I expressing it to the people? I mean, am I using text messages? Am I using my words? Am I using my gestures, or am I using my pointers? So whatever is in my mind, how am I expressing it is the expressive language. And the last is the speech. Speech comes under the umbrella of expressive language. However, here we are specifically talking about the verbal communication skills. How the child is using his speech to communicate his needs and his feelings to you. Okay? Uh, so you should note, whenever we'll talk about milestones, the development will occur in these four parts, specifically when we talk about communication or in terms of a speech, language, and hearing. Okay, now let's look about what are the milestones we see. Okay, so I mean, this is a very basic and general chart that you are seeing in front of you. We all know, okay, by the time of 3 months, a child starts to at least make some random sounds, or we can say some vocalizations. I mean, he would start say ah ah ah, poo poo poo. I mean, there are different sounds that they start to make by the end of 3 months. By the end of 6 months, they start to combine their sounds in, I mean, in a proper babbling like sound. Like for example, if a child was making a sound b b b initially, so babbling will be ba 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 ba. Okay, if a child is able to produce ka 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 and ba 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 ba, so by the end of 6 months he'll be able to combine ba ka ka ka, I mean different, combining different sounds. There are different, combinations of babbling, we can say, like baka. I mean, there are duplicated babbling, reduplicated babbling. Will combine two similar sounds or combine. By the end of 1 year, we can see the child is able to produce one word utterances. By the end of 2 years, they'll be able to combine two words, and by the end of 3 years, they'll be able to make phrases and proper sentences, and the chain goes on. Now, this is very generic thing. However, when we go into the very specificities, we can say by the, I mean, in terms of general milestone chart, we see there are specific discrimination, milestones that you can discriminate in terms of receptive and in everything. So I'm just going to rush through all of it. I mean, as a professional should at least know, okay, by the end of 3 months, 4 months, 7 months, the child is able to differentiate your sound with a mother's sound. I mean, the child will exactly know this is not my ma's sound and this is someone else. That is why he would not, I mean, want to come to you, because he can differentiate the intonation. Okay? By the end of 6 months, they start to make random sounds, and they would start to explore the hanging a rattle. If you are hanging a rattle on the court, you would see the child will, I mean, put his hand on it and would start to manipulate the object, okay, by how it works. Okay, so by the end of 6 months, 7 months, you would see this kind of experimental play, and he would start making sounds. He would know, when I cry, my mama will give me food. By the end of 8 months, he would know, okay, other than crying, I can also speak certain sounds. And if I this, like for example, if I sound like pa, my mama will give me pani. If I sound like ma, my mama will give me water. Okay, the kids, I mean, start to learn that by the end of 9 months and 10 months. And by the end of 1 year, they are able to at least label objects as a holistic. Like if they want to go outside, they might just say shoes. Okay, so the word shoe will communicate the whole of their feelings which are in their mind. By the end of 2 years, I mean, they are able to at least know why my mama is scolding, why what is happening in the kitchen. If my mama is going in the kitchen, she might she might be cooking something, or my food arrival time is near. Okay, so by the end of 2 years, they are able to combine two words. They are able to answer you what questions, where questions, and by the end of 3 years, they are able to properly express their feelings, their love feelings. The other feelings. Uh, the meeting is about to end in 10 minutes. I think they are saying. By the end of 4 years, they are able to, properly express uh, in sentences. They are able to answer questions. They are able to describe the pictures. They are able to describe the situations. And we as Asians specifically feel that by the end of 5 years, they are able to at least talk in proper sentence structures. Okay, I'm just going to rush to the last slide, and then I think we can take the questions, or let's see kitna time jata hai, or we can then come back again for the questions. Uh, Specifically in terms of speech, what are you going to see here is ke here. Initially, the child will be able to produce bilabial sounds. What we say as bilabial sounds, the sounds that are produced from your lips, like b, p, m, b, b, p, m, and b. Okay? These are bilabials. Initially, these sounds comes the first. By the age, these are the easiest sounds that the child starts to learn. Some kids learn stop sounds first. Now there are also types and stops. So by the end of 3 years, we can say that speech clarity comes with stop sounds like k, g, t, d, where the air starts to stop. Okay, like t, the air stops. Okay, by the end of 4 years, they are able to produce sounds that has a airstream in it, like j, ठीक है, ये वाले sounds. And by the end of 5 years, sh, the difficult sounds that require, a bit of manipulation of the tongue. And the last that comes are the labiodentals. Labiodentals are termed as, the sounds that are produced with your lip and with your teeth. F, f. Okay, the sounds that are produced with your teeth and with your lip are termed as labiodentals or interdentals. Okay, so this was a bit of hierarchy for the sounds. I think